Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so we are in Canto 3, Chapter 23, and we are going to look at shlokas from 6 to 10 today, right? Welcoming all for Shrimad Bhagavatam, Daily Shrimad Bhagavatam. And the chapter is entitled, Mataji, will you share or you want me to share?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I will be sharing, Mataji. One sec, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Can you all see, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Not yet, Mataji. Okay.
My daughter is helping me, Mataji. One second. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Mataji, shall I do it?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna, Mataji. Yeah, please, Mataji.
Hare
Suma Mataji is not usually sharing the screen, so I think she has some problem. Suma Mataji,
Yes.
it's okay. Mataji will share.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I'm very apologies, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Forgive me.
No apologies, Mataji. It's okay. Fine.
It's all a learning. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Text 6. Who wants to read? Devotees can volunteer. Devahuti's Lamentation is the chapter that we are reading. Shloka 6 to 10. Yes, Suma Mataji, please read the shloka. And Sudha Mataji can read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Pranams to you, Mataji. Kardama Uvacha. Mataji, I can't see that English, Mataji.
Yeah. Now you're able to see. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you're able to see now?
Sudha Mataji, can you read the shloka, Mataji? I'll read the translation.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Pranams Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Kartama Uvacha. Tushtoham adya tava manadayaha Sushrusashaya paramaya paraya chabhakya yo dehinam ayam ativa suhratsadeho navekshita samuchita shapitum madarte. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Kardama Muni said, O respectful daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, today I am very much pleased with you for your great devotion and most excellent loving service. Since the body is so dear to embodied beings, I am satisfied that you have neglected your own body to use it on my behalf. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Actually, here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about, Prabhupada talks about how serving great Vaishnavas is the only thing for us sadhakas. There's a very nice kirtan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Most of us may have heard it. It is very nice meaning. Maybe after the class or something you can say. It goes like Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula. Actually, whatever we want to do, whether it is Ekadashi, whether it is making prasadam, making bhoga, offering, everything, it says this because of Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu, this dust of the lotus feet of a devotee of a Mahatma is what we have to hanker for. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks, of course, about Mahatmanas, Tumam Partha, Daivim Prakriti Mashrita. And what is the import that Srila Prabhupada gives there is that the Mahatmas are, because they are constantly thinking of the Lord or in the Lord's devotional service, right? So they are protected always by the divine energy. Now, even I mean, not that they falter, they in any circumstance, such pure devotees, right? Any circumstance. For example, what comes to my mind is His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Once, I think in Italy, one person came, he was about to board a plane, he was waiting in the airport. He slit his throat because he was a Christian, and then Jayapatak Maharaj was following something else. I mean, he was following the Hindu religion. So Mahatmas have, enemies among their own religion and, of course, the religion that they followed, like how we saw in Haridas Thakur's case also. So he slit, and then it so happened that it cut a vein in such a way that if it started bleeding, and if it continued, it could have killed Maharaj. It could have killed Jayapatak Maharaj. And then it was so sudden that the disciples and the other devotees that they were there, right? They panicked and they didn't know what to do. And Jayapataka Maharaj himself, he took out his utri and he tied it, around the neck until that emergency, Then, of course, the ambulance came and then they took him. And then the doctor said, because you tied yourself, I mean, stopped the bleeding to some extent, you are able to survive. So, you see, in whatever circumstance, how the Lord protects. And also, these kind of leelas with the pure devotees, the Lord does for us to show, to make us understand that how much the Lord protects when we completely surrender. So that's why when complete surrender, Krishna always says in Bhagavad Gita, the most important, now we thought Sarva Dharman Parityajam. Yes, that is the important shloka. In that shloka, Ma Suchaha is very important because he says, do not fear. Because we are very fearful. If I give up my this, if I give up my family, my money, this, that, what will happen to me? So Krishna time and again talks of Ma Suchaha, and he shows, various pastimes with various pure devotees for how exactly when a person is completely surrendered is under the divine energy. And of course, we know about Jada Bharata, how, when he was about to be, when his head was about to be chopped off, how Ma Durga comes and chops off the heads of the so-called her devotees. So the main thing here, what we are trying to understand is that how it is important to serve pure devotees or who are near to him, because we may not be very accessible to such pure devotees, our spiritual master or pure devotees. So what is the next best thing? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad says, the only business of a disciple is to follow the instructions of spiritual master. So if there is an instruction given by the bona fide spiritual master, right, following it is as good as serving the spiritual master in Vapu. I mean, when the spiritual master is there, we serve him physically in whatever capacity we can. But if he's not there, and it is more important, Srila Prabhupada also says, that is following the instructions of the spiritual master. So, and also, Srila Prabhupada talks about how, Raghuguna tells Jadabharata that once progress in the purport, it comes that once progress, spiritual progress is not by rituals, becoming a sannyasi, performing sacrifices as per scripture, realization happens only by the mercy of and grace of Mahatmas. And how do we get mercy or grace of Mahatmas? Only by pleasing them. And what pleases them? What pleases them? When we serve them, or when the service is rendered for whatever need during festivals, or now Suma Mataji is trying to share the screen. So at the outside, it may look like a very small thing, but nothing is very small in devotional service. Srila Prabhupada umpteen times says, a person who is doing arati in the altar and a person who is cleaning the toilet in the temple, both are service for the Lord. Because we may think the person who's doing arati in the altar is more exalted or more favored by the Lord. No, that is not the case. That is not what scriptures and the acharyas say. Anything is service. Okay. And another one more important thing Srila Prabhupada talks in the purport at the end of this word, akritatma, right? Here Atma can be in body, mind and soul. And he says one who cannot control senses. That is I'm talking more of myself, like who cannot control senses, common man, Srila Prabhupada talks about. So then that means there is no hope for us? No. He says, if one takes shelter of Mahatma, of a pure devotee, then that is the way to perfect life. Because the mind is one thing which we should never rely or trust, right? And that mind is like super what to say, elusive to control. Or by the time you think, okay, my mind is going somewhere, I should bring it to control, then it's already gone somewhere else, right? So the hope for that is to perfect life, Srila Prabhupada says, is to take the shelter of the Mahatmas, or the pure devotees, or devotees serving such pure devotees, right? So here, Srila Prabhupada talks, here Kardama Muni is saying how faithfully she has served, the devotee has served him without taking care of her own body. Right? So this was Shloka 6. Yeah, so go to Shloka 7.
Hare Krishna. Shall we read, Mataji? Shall I call out the devotee?
One second. I have to change this thing. Yes, Mataji, you can call out the devotees.
Hare Krishna. Sindhu Mataji, you can read the shloka. Krishnamurti Prabhu, you can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pranams, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada ki jai. Eme swadharma niratasya tapah samadhi vidyatma yoga vijita bhagavat prasadaha tan evate mat anushevanaya varudhan drishtim prapashya vitaran abhayana shokan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Mataji, Pranams Mataji. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Kardama Muni continued, I have achieved the blessings of the Lord in discharging my own religious life of austerity, meditation and Krishna consciousness. Although you have not yet experienced these achievements, which are free from prayer and lamentation, I shall offer them all to you because you are engaged in my service. Now just look at them. I am giving you the transcendental vision to see how nice they are. Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranams Mataji.
Hare Krishna. You see, when I was listening to some lectures, when I was deliberating on this particular shloka, the translation, what is Kardama Muni saying here? Like, I will give you the highest benefit for anybody that can achieve Abhaya and Ashoka. And when does one become Abhaya and Ashoka? When one is in Krishna consciousness only, right? And then what did Devhuti do? Devhuti just served Kardama Muni. And what did Kardama Muni do? Kardama Muni did tapas, did austerity for 10,000 years, right? For 10,000 years he did tapas, and of course, as a result of that, he's a great sage. He saw the Lord. And what is it that Devhuti did? She just served Kardama Muni. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says talks about Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami said the first aspect of in Krishna consciousness is to accept a bona fide spiritual master, right? And then next is how to how to serve him or how to deal with him, because many a times when we are new to Krishna consciousness, after we accept a spiritual master, most of the times we do not know what etiquettes that we have to follow with a bona fide spiritual master. So it is not just the tattva. In that aspect, ISKCON is so, I must say, unique, because even all those etiquettes to what one has to follow when we accept this bona fide spiritual master, when we meet him, what we have to do, how we have to serve him, etc., everything. All this the devotees help us to do it. Otherwise, maybe initially we are addressing the spiritual master, the pure devotee, also like any other devotee. Like we may tend to say Prabhu, for the born by spiritual master, which is not a Vaishnava etiquette at all. So first is accepting, and next is learning the etiquettes, and then the next most important thing is to receive instructions from the bona fide spiritual master. Now, why we have to receive instructions from bona fide spiritual master, right? Because the bona fide spiritual master is somebody whose hands are not tied. What do I mean by that? Now, if I have to free myself, if my hands are tied, if I have to free myself, I have to go to a person whose hands are free. If I keep going to persons whose hands are also tied, how can they free me? Right? So, if I am stuck in this material world under the influence of the three modes of material nature, and then in the influence of Maya always, so if I have to get help to get out of this, then I need to go to a person whose hands are not tied, who's above this, the modes of material nature, and whose hands are free. That is the import I'm trying to say, whose hands are free, right? So that is why the initial instructions that are coming from the bona fide spiritual master, not just the initial, eventually the disciple getting instructions from the spiritual master is very important, because the spiritual master is very dear to the Lord. The spiritual master instructs each disciple as per their nature. Now, how will spiritual master know among so many disciples what is the nature and what is the kind of service that particular disciple can do? Right? That is where this aspect of Mahatma comes, right? we are all so engrossed in listening to our mind that we fail to listen to the Paramatma, who is also constantly speaking, constantly guiding Hanumanta Upadrishta, right? Constantly. But then our mind is so loud that we don't hear this. But what happens with the Mahatma? The Paramatma's voice is so loud that the mind doesn't come into picture at all. And that is how the instructions from the Paramatma from the Lord comes to the spiritual master to each disciple. Right? And that is how he becomes becomes aware of the actual swabhava, actual nature of the disciple, and the instructions are given, right? So that is why the instructions, this is what is the instructions from importance of the instructions from the spiritual master or the saintly person. And another aspect, very important aspect that Srila Prabhupada talks about here is Karna Randraihi, right? The only way to receive or to follow the what the spiritual master wants the disciple to do is through the holes of the ears, oral reception, Srila Prabhupada says, and not through any other parts of the body. Because any other thing, the spiritual master may say it perfectly, but then we as conditioned souls may not be able to. I mean, I'm saying in case he's saying a sign language or something, we may not be so perfect or elevate or understand what the spiritual master is saying. So the only way he's saying perfection is through Shravana. So we even all the shlokas that we hear, the first thing, the Navavida Bhakti, everything that you see starts with Shravanam, right? So the disciple perfects because he follows the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master. And then and also in Bhagavad Gita, it says, whatever is our ability, we can serve Krishna, right? Because, see, what is our ability? Even though the spiritual master, based on our swabhava, like how Srila Prabhupada instructed some Matajis to paint, some Matajis to sing, because, right? One may be very adept in any of the ability, but what does Krishna say? Krishna says, I am the ability in man, right? So these instructions, even though, coming through the bona fide spiritual master, is coming to the disciple as per the Swabhava. With those instructions, what happens is the saintly person, the spiritual master, also gives this knowledge that the knowledge that this ability you may have, one may have, but to use it also, one must have the mercy of the Lord through the spiritual master. So it is, so you see all these finer things, all these subtle things comes only when only when one follows the instructions of the spiritual master, right? There is one, as a child I heard the story. It is quite relevant in the sense, I'm not too sure if it comes from any scriptures, but just as an analogy, I thought I will just share this, like how sometimes we get bewildered with the abilities that we have and things like that. It's suppose it was once Narada Muni goes to Narayana and he says, who's in the conversation, it comes across that Narada Muni thinks that he is the greatest devotee. So Lord Narayana realizes this, and then he says, there is one farmer there, right? Can you just go and then Narayana says there is a farmer who is a better devotee than you. Then Narad Muni is wondering, he's just a farmer. How can he be a better devotee than me? Right? So when this thought comes, then Narad Muni just goes, he sees there, and then he is constantly chanting the Lord's name, irrespective of what he is doing, this farmer. Right? He's constantly chanting. So then Narayana, the Lord being in the Paramatma, he understands what is going through Narada Muni's mind. He gives him the pot of oil, right? And it is filled full, brim. And he says, you take this, but not a drop should spill. And you go around, do say your sanchara and you come back. And then this is what he says, and he sends it. Then Narad Muni goes. Now, he's following the instructions of Sriman Narayana, and then his complete concentration is that he should not, spill a drop of oil from the pot that is given by him, and then he goes and he comes back. Then Narayana asks him, did you follow what I said? He said, yes. See, not a drop has been spilled. I went all over and I came. Then Narayana says, how many times did you chant my name? Then, I'm not, because Narada Muni is always chanting the Lord's name. This is just as an analogy we can take. And then Narada Muni realizes why the Lord said that farmer in heat, light, rain, whether he's, irrespective of the circumstances, he was chanting the Lord's name all through. But then here, doing his work, so with so much of intent that he did not chant the Lord's names, right? As an analogy, I'm just sharing this. So we may have any ability, right? But then we must remember, Matta Smritir Gnanam Aponam cha. Krishna can take away any ability, any time, because again, the remembrance, forgetfulness, everything is coming from Krishna. So these things, these instructions, these subtle things are also passed on by the spiritual master to keep us humble. Because unless we are humble, then we lose track in our sadhana bhakti, in the path of bhakti, right? So, the one last point here, Srila Prabhupada talks about Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Spiritual success is by considering Guru Vakya as life and soul. Why this Vyavasayatmika Buddhi? Ekehe Kuru Nandana. One pointedness, right? Like how we spoke about how our senses are so agitated always. So we don't know what to follow also sometimes, because the world is like that. Right now in Bangalore, Karnataka especially, all over the place, all over India, it's so hot. But then we have never experienced this kind of heat. Bangalore, I never remember as a child even switching on the fan. It used to never go beyond 20, 22 degrees, right? It is touching 40. Now I'm sharing this because it is bewildering. What regularly we are supposed to do, work and sadhana, is really affecting in this heat, right? Extreme heat. So the material world, right? It can be external, it can be our own mind, through others. We are always in tsunami of taking us away from our sadhana, right? So what is the only hope there? Guru Vakya. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya Arna Kori Ho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Yei Se Uttama Gati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Sarva Pura Asha, right? This is the only hope. So Srila Prabhupada also talks about Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasad. Only if the spiritual master is pleased, that is the only way to please. And in Kannada, I would just, before we go to the next shloka, Guruvina gulama naguva tanaka doreyadanna mukati. Unless you become a gulama, unless you become literally a slave of the guru, doreyadanna mukati, you don't realize the import of our spiritual aspects, is what Purandar Dasa's famous song that is. Right? So we will read the next shloka, shloka 8.
Karpagavalli Mataji, you can read the shloka, and Shanti Mataji, you can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful. Anni punar bhagavato dhruva udiramba visvam
Vijrambha.
vijramba vijramba vibram siddhartha rakan kim guru kramsaya siddhasti bun.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Mataji,
Hare
if Mataji, it is perfectly okay. If you're finding it difficult to read the shloka, you can read the translation. All of us go through this path, not being able to read, but over the period of time, Guru's
Mataji,
mercy.
after you, shall I read Mataji, please? After you?
After me, you want to read? Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Anye punar bhagavato bhruva udvijrambah.
Anye punar bhagavato purva ramba
Vibhrama kim kuru kramasya.
vipram siddhartarikan kim rupramsaya
Siddhasi bhungsva vibhavan nija dharma dohan.
siddhasi bhuvan swa
Bhungsva
vibhavan nija dharma dohan
divya nare duragdhyan nripa vikriyabhihi.
divyan nare dura divyan nare dura dhyan niraptavikra yabi. Translation, then translation be
No, Mataji, Hare Krishna, the translation, somebody else will read, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Whom did you call out, Suma Mataji?
Shanti Mataji, you can Shanti Mataji. Mataji, you can read Mataji. Shanti Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay, Maumita Mataji, you can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji Pranam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Kardama Muni continued, what is the use of enjoyments other than the Lord's grace? All material achievements are subject to be annihilated simply by a movement of the eyebrows of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By your principles of devotion to your husband, you have achieved and can enjoy transcendental gifts very rarely obtained by persons proud of aristocracy and material possessions. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. What a powerful statement here. I mean, Shrimad Bhagavatam. It says, what is it saying in the translation? All material achievements are subject to be annihilated simply by a movement of eyebrows of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we are all so stuck to, our bodies and that extension, in whatever sense. It can be as assets, it can be as people, right? And the Lord can, just with a movement of eyebrows, he says, everything can go, right? So here Kardama Muni is enlightening Devhuti about the futility of material possessions, right? And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about this particular this thing, Prema Kumarto Mahan. What is the goal of human life, right? The goal of human life is love of Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada says those with aristocracy fail to appreciate the divine love of God, right? It is not mostly I mean, there are definitely a lot of exceptions that are there, but mostly people with Janma, Ishwar, Shuta, Shri, right? They have any of these opulences, then they tend not to take to bhakti process, right? But because Devahuti is guided by uh, spiritual master, also happens to be husband, and she served him so well that she is getting the highest highest what to say, the love of God, just by serving the spiritual master or just by serving her husband, right? And also Kardama Muni says it's not just serving, service with love, affection and sincerity, right? And just for a second we can pause and think, how are we going to achieve this love of Godhead? Where are we? First of all, we are not even alive 10,000 years. Okay, even I say we are alive for 100 years. Then 100 years, what tapas are we going to do? Whatever we think we are going to do, we make a schedule that itself for the next day. I mean, I'm talking from my own personal experience. I would have said, thought I'll do this. If I can achieve 50%, that itself, 50% of what I had planned the previous day for today is a big thing. So what tapas we can do, right? So this is where, Gauranga or Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurati Se Namo Namaha, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and it is so hope giving that Krishna Prema was given freely to people like Jagai Madai also, who, who just did not follow anything, right? So that is the hope that we have. That is the only, I won't call it a silver lining. I would call it a priceless lining in in Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy through Srila Prabhupada and his devotees, right? So it is so much hope giving, right? And also Nija Dharma Dohan, right? Here, this whole aspect of Dehoti's lamentation, I mean, Kardamuni and Dehoti is, uh, mm, I remember my Shiksha Guru, when we were reading, Mataji was saying, these chapters have to be read by people who are getting into Grihastha life, right? And then because they representing a very ideal Grihastha life, and then by following these things, how both the husband and wife, while being happy with each other, are also achieving the highest goal, right? So here also in the sloka it comes, Nija Dharma Dohan. So Srila Prabhupada says, by following one's own principles, right? And the first principle for a woman is to serve faithfully her husband, okay? And if the husband happens to be a devotee, the combination is a perfect one, right? I know there'll be plenty of doubts based on this particular aspect, but then you see, one thing we have to understand is the Shastras are, I think we are now all attending Shrimad Bhagavatam regularly. We accept the fact that the Shastras are infallible because it is coming from the Lord. And if Shastra is saying this, the only one and only thing for a woman is to serve faithfully her husband, and that is how she is going to achieve her perfection, then that
guarantee na?
uh,
ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿನಾ?
Hare Krishna. Kindly mute, please. Okay.
Muted, Mataji.
Yeah. So, yeah, guarantee. Mataji was, I don't know what she was talking about. Probably that is the Lord's intervention. Yes, it is guaranteed that the woman is successful in all ways just by faithfully serving her husband, because it is coming from Shastras, it is coming from Acharyas. So there can be no doubt about that, right? So we'll go to the Shloka 9. Yeah. Shloka 9.
Shanti Mataji, you can read the shloka, Mataji. And now Kishori Mataji, you can read the translation. Now Kishori Mataji, you can read the shloka. Then Divya Gopa Mataji, you can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you. Evam, Mataji, can you please scroll down the Sanskrit one? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Evam pruna bruvanamam balakhila yogam maya khila yoga maya vidya vichakshanama vekshya gatadira sita sampra samprashya pranaya vihlaya gireshada क्रीडावलोक विलसद्द सिताननाः. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Upon hearing the speaking of her husband, who excelled in knowledge of all kinds of transcendental signs, innocent Devahuti was very satisfied. Her smiling face shining with a slightly bashful glance, she spoke in a choked voice because of great humility and love. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So if you see the purport, the first line, Srila Prabhupada says, it is said that if one is already engaged in Krishna consciousness and is rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord, then it can be supposed that he has finished all the recommended courses of austerity, penance, religion, sacrifice, mystic, yoga, and meditation. Haribol to all of us. At least we have taken to the path of Krishna consciousness. That means that all we have either in this birth or previous births that we have done so many austerities, tapas. I mean, this Shastra is saying. Now, if you actually, this we will come a little later in the chapter 32 activities of Kapila, where Kapila Muni is instructing Mother Devahuti. There are two translations that I would like to read. This is 3:33, 6 and 7, where it emphasizes this point. Yeah. Please listen to the translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. This is Canto 3, Chapter 33, Text 6. To say nothing of spiritual advancement of a person who sees the Supreme Person face to face. Even a person born in the family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices, even if he utters the holy name of Supreme Personality of Godhead or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him. Right? Now, text 7 says, translation by Srila Prabhupada, oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the family of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. So, if any of us have any doubt, how can we do it? That means, I mean, if we are able to chant, if we are able to have the opportunity to serve pure devotees, that means we have come a long way with all that, with all these things. Bahunam janmanam ante gnanavan nam prapadyante. Brahmande brahmite kono bhagyavan jeev. Right? So let's make full use of this bhagya that we have chosen to follow, right? And also in the purport, it is talking about humility and great love of Devahuti. Her whole body stature, I mean, her body language is such that even though she wants to ask the husband, all this matters, why Shastra is giving all this, instead of having an argument when we want to ask something. It can be either of the spouses. Here it is highlighting the wife, but it can come to either of the spouses, how one has to, I mean, not that, the husband, usually the male members are not shy or anything, but even when they ask, that tone and other things that they're talking about. And what is it that we can take, what is it that came to my mind from this purport and translation of this shloka is that what is the best gift that one can receive or what one can give? Like how Modi ji said, what better gift can I give other than Bhagavad Gita? What is the other gift that anybody can receive other than Bhagavad Gita? So here, devotional service, right? That is what Kardama Muni is gifting Devhuti for all the austerities, even though being a princess, for all the austerities that she did, he's giving her this benediction of devotional service. So she is trying to say something. So we will see what she's trying to say. The last shloka of the day, shloka 10. Yes. Anybody wants to read? Sudha Mataji, yes, please read. Sudha Mataji, kindly read the shloka.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Chandra Pranam. Radham Bata Vijagdushatai Amogayoga Mayadite Parivot Availibata Yaste Vyadahi Samoga Sakradanda Sambo Bhuyad Varyasi Guna Prasava Satima. Thank you, Mataji.
Divya Desai Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji. Divya Desai Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Dehavuti said, "My dear husband, O best of Brahmanas, I know that you have achieved perfection and are the master of all infallible mystic powers because you are under the protection of Yoga Maya, the transcendental nature. But you once made a promise that our bodily union should now fulfill, since children are a great quality for a chaste woman who has a glorious husband." Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Devhuti is saying, reminding of the promise that Kardama Muni said that he would beget children in her, and then he would of course leave her, right? And she also talks about the glory of a chaste and of a married woman is to beget a child, and especially if the husband is as glorious as Kardama Muni, so she will always want a child as glorious as the husband, right? So she is reminding. And here again, we come across the aspect of a Mahatma. How a person, especially who's a Mahatma, who are not under the control of material energy, Srila Prabhupada says. And one another aspect here, Srila Prabhupada talks in the purport about what does Stri mean. Stri means expansion, right? And then also elsewhere, they said, you give the woman something, she will multiply it and she will give it. In the sense, I mean, the husband or the man of the family is generally one who's goes out and earns, and invariably it is the woman who runs the family, right? So, when I was, this was in some other context that we were hearing, and then on a lighter note, that person was saying, don't give a headache to a woman. She will multiply it and give it back to you. So, I mean, just as on a lighter note. But a woman is known to multiply whatever, right? And then how she also, as a chaste woman, begetting a child by a great personality is glorious, right? And she is asking from whom? Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni, who's already seen the Lord face to face, and who's also, the Lord has ensured him that he will be born as their son, right? And here Prabhupada highlights about the feminine quality, being shy, and then even though she is asking her husband, right? Reminding the husband about begetting a child. Now, the whole aspect here is, if we talk of these aspects in the present day scenario, right? it may sound out of context, or are women there only to serve the husbands? Do they not have freedom? The aspect of equality, all these things come up. Everything is what to say, everything is gone topsy-turvy now. Now, for a second, what is it that we are talking about? Equality, right? Equality. Okay, the woman should earn like the man, give her freedom, etc. Now, just for a second, if we pause and think, right? At home, it can be the husband, father, or the son, right? Because these are the Shastra says the girl is under the protection of the father, then the husband, and the son, grown-up son. We think it is being very free. Instead of listening to these people at home, we are ready to listen to somebody else outside who are not even considering our welfare, and who would not give a damn whether we are able to do something, not able to do something, and we think that is freedom. Working for somebody else, trying to serve them, trying to please them, rather than trying to please people who are more favorable to us at home, who will be more protective of us, who will be more understanding of us. The whole world is, talking of this equality. Equality to women, right? And then in that bargain, how much the woman is getting abused in all aspects, physically, mentally, emotionally, physiologically, whatever aspect, right? So that is why I said, irrespective of what age we are in, what the society says, the Shastra can never be wrong, right? Just imagine, Kardama Muni has done, he is a great sage, right? And for all the austerities she does, right? We will further see what a mansion Kardama Muni creates, even though he's a sage. And you see the humility of the father who offered Devhuti to Kardama Muni. Like the father didn't think, Swayambhu Manu didn't think, oh, my daughter is a princess. She is in the palace. How can I give, offer my daughter, such a beautiful daughter, who's a daughter of a king, right? To a sage like this, who's looks so, because of his austerity, Kardama Muni looked like a true sage, and then he is living in a hut. You see, what I'm trying to highlight here is our Vedic way of life. Vedic way of life, even earlier, when there was this, till the time the parents were looking out for matches, suitable matches for the daughters, they more so looked into the family, and then what is their background and other things, rather than how much money they have. But unfortunately, now the whole everything is pivoted around money, right? Here the import is not that money is not needed, but then we see, we hear so many things. It is not that people who have money are more happier, or they are more this thing, because unless one is peaceful, unless one is satisfied with whatever they have, irrespective of what they have, will not make them happy or peaceful. So as devotees, wherever there's an opportunity for us to make these changes, it can be for our own selves, if we are not yet married, or it can be the aspect of getting our children married. If we start this trend that, along with money, if we need to take care of the character, or what is the values somebody is following, if we give more prominence to these things, slowly it will snowball. It may be from 1, 2, 3%, but eventually it will snowball. So it is a lot of onus on us devotees, right? This is how changes in the society is brought about, right? Because most of us now, like anything else, be it social status of house, work, travel, marriages also unfortunately have become like that. And because the whole base of marriage is not values, we see it falling apart very easily. Right? So these chapters can be a very nice guidance for people getting into grihastha, or if we have our children or somebody we are counseling, or somebody we are close to, we are trying to tell somebody about grihastha life. These chapters about Kardama Muni and Devahuti, how Devahuti so selflessly when she served Kardama Muni, she got something which you could just not imagine. She was amazed by the number of servants the Kardama Muni provides her after he provides the flying palace, it says, which has cities and everything, unimaginable, right? So we have to have that faith in the scriptures. We have to have the faith in the Acharya's words, right? So all this is also a takeaway from Shrimad Bhagavatam, other than listening to the pastimes, how we have to walk Shrimad Bhagavatam, how we have to inculcate Shrimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita into our lives, which Srila Prabhupada has done it so wonderfully for all of us by giving the purpose in a way that we understand it easily and eventually inculcate it in our lives. So I would, with these few thoughts, I would like to close the class now. And I'm very thankful for all of you for a patient hearing. And it's more and more I get opportunities to do classes. I take it up because what I realized is it's a super purification for myself, right? So I should thank all of you for this opportunity, and of course Ashish Prabhu and the team for this opportunity, because it is really making me more thoughtful and helping in my sadhana, and all of you also giving me this opportunity to share. So I beg forgiveness for a lot of hitches and shortcomings, and seek all your prayers so that I'm able to do this small service to my Guru Maharaj, and then also to all the Vaishnavas. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Wonderful class, Mataji. First of all, I would like to apologize, Mataji. I could not share the screen, and I made you all wait, Mataji. And it was a wonderful class, Mataji, wherein you taught us all of us, like all the abilities that we possess are only because of the Lord. And in the same class, you made us understand that we have to take up seva also. So both are, Mataji, like we take up the seva, knowing that we are not at all, we do not have any abilities also. So it is really, Mataji, enlightening session, Mataji, for me. As I don't know about others, Mataji. And thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, wonderful class, Mataji. It was useful, Mataji, for all of us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Pranams, Mataji. Mataji, I've got one small doubt. No, it's not doubt. I want clarification. In 8 sloka, in translation, all material achievements are subject to be annihilated simply by a movement of the eyebrows of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This quotation, how we can able to know the glory of the Lord, but at the same moment, how we have to take in our personal life to experience.
See, one aspect of your question I understood, that how we have to take it in our personal lives.
Yes.
About this, right? So yeah, this aspect is that we should stop thinking we are controllers, right? Controller is the Lord. Now, if he has very mercifully given it to us, and for some reason he can take away from us also. It not necessarily be material wealth and prosperity, right? It can be anything. It can be our health, it can be our speech, it can be our sight. Anything the Lord can take away. But definitely that will have a strong reason if we are especially practicing devotees, or if there are, even if they are non-devotees, to bring somebody to line. We can take it away. If we are becoming very proud with all those things, we are deviating from our spiritual practices. So very mercifully, the Lord takes it away to bring us back to the track. So, and also we can understand how temporary all these things are, right? So, in that aspect, we can we should understand this, and as long as we are sure that this is the Lord's property, I have to use it in the Lord's service, and I'm just the caretaker. If we are in that mood, then if we have that bhava in us, then we will not be disturbed whether it is with us or it is not with us. Now will we lament if I'm staying in a rented house, and if the owner says go, will I cry? Will I cry that the owner asked me to leave the house, Prabhu?
No, we are not supposed to. We have to leave.
So this is badge money for us. Badge, the property, everything is badge. Everything is rented for us. It is the Lord's. He has given it as rent. So why should we? Why should it, disturb us?
Okay.
Okay. There was another part that you asked which I was not very clear about the question.
The thing is, well, Supreme Lord is so powerful, and then he is able to do everything. So the supremacy we can able to understand by that word. So question is, what your kind self has enlightened me, that how it is to be applicable in life, that is satisfied by me. Thank you.
It is not even mine. It is not even mine.
Yes, Mataji.
So why worry?
Thank you, Mataji. So the thing is, our mindset up is to be to that extent we have to develop to that extent.
Yes, that is why Srila Prabhupada called it Krishna consciousness. The consciousness is important there. I may possess the whole world. Bali Maharaj's wife said, she begs forgiveness from Vamana. She says, foolishly, he said he is giving you something, whereas nothing is ours. It is yours only. Please forgive him, she says. Tells Vamana Dev. Right?
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I have a doubt, Mataji, like in taking up the seva, Mataji, like we just take up the seva, knowing that we are not at all capable of doing anything. But when we take up the seva in practical life, there are some problems, like when in today's class, like how it happened. So everybody will not have the patience also. So they will also get disturbed also. Just we think that we will get spiritually, I mean, one step closer to Krishna or something like that, in thinking that we take up the seva, Mataji. But there are so many other devotees also who are very with so much of abilities than us. So what should we do, Mataji? Am I using their opportunities or misuse? So should I step back, or what? What is it, Mataji, like I should do? So this is personally, I just felt that should we stop taking up the seva of others?
It can be shared if others are also wanting to do the seva, right? It can be shared, one thing. I think the first thing that we talk about in today's class was ability. It is not a question whether somebody is more able or less able. Krishna has more able people than us. If I think I can sing very well, Gandharvas are like super singers. Right? It is not a question. Any point of time, if somebody thinks they are very good at something, you will always find somebody better than them. It is not the question of ability here. It is a question of willingness. It is a question of wanting to do the seva. That is what Krishna is looking at. Today you are not able to share the screen. That doesn't matter for Krishna. I mean, I'm repeating what I heard from my Guru Maharaj and Acharyas. That doesn't matter. That is, of course, not in our control. What is in our control? Whether I want to do it. You want to do it. That is the mark. I mean, that is the grace that Krishna will want to see. The bhava. That is why he is bhava grahi janardana, not sara grahi janardana. Is one thing. Another thing is, if there are more people who want to do it, you can do it in turns. That is also what Krishna looks at, how much we cooperate, right? Not, that is why, in the spiritual world, it's not that, even though this Kaku is singing there so beautifully, it allows the bumblebees to go, because Krishna, it may be just a buzz sound, but then it doesn't think I can sing very beautifully. If the bumblebee wants to serve Krishna, that is Srimati Radharani's mood. That is why we call out to Srimati Radharani, because he always says, here is a better devotee than, whereas there can be no other better devotee than Srimati Radharani. But the mood there, that you want to serve, but if you have somebody wanting to serve, you assist them, you allow them, and you also serve. Do it. There are umpteen services, and then and it can be shared with all. That is what is the mood that Srila Prabhupada is thinking. Srila Prabhupada said, if you really want to please me, cooperate among yourselves. Right? Unlike the material mood, I want to do it because I can do it better. No. It's not whether I can do it better, best, or no. This is what I can do, and how I allow others also to do it.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It was so wonderful. Hare Krishna. Pranams, Mataji.
Sharing is caring, Mataji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Padma
Sharing
Mataji.
is caring.
Sharing is caring. Yes.
Shall we end the session with the prayer, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
I'm just a starter in this group. I'm trying my heart by doing chanting, reading Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, doing this daily. I'm trying to attend the classes as much as possible. Today's class was very excellent. I'm also thankful today our group has sent the Bhagavatam reading session, the same part. Today's Veda-based group was the same one which was sent. So it was very excellent to hear that. Thank you, Mataji, so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent is Shrimad Bhagavatam. The speaker is just a nimitta. He's a nimitta. The excellence is it's because of God, because of the Lord, his devotees. Right? So all credit to my Guru Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay, Mataji, we'll end it with the Vaishnava.
Sudha Mataji.
No Mataji, no.
Nothing? Okay. Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhishya kripa sindhuvya patitanam
pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namaha.
40 Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada
ki jai. Srimad Gauri Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Shall I end the session?